So I'll repeat the question. To what extent do we need to experience our own nafs in order to undergo this transformation that we're talking about? You know, the approach on one level is just to remind people, to scare them perhaps, to preach to them. This hasn't proved very effective, it seems. But there's a capacity within the human being that allows us to get some distance on our own nafs and sustain that perspective on the false self. And I'll give some very practical examples of what I'm talking. Let's say that in essence what you are is a being that's been invited here by the divine into this beautiful world. And the divine just wants you to be appreciative and grateful and to realize what a gift this is and to remember him, report to him. But however, the ego in all of us wants attention and doesn't want to be ignored, wants approval and doesn't want to be disapproved. And these are all the games that the nafs plays. The fundamental game is that I should be forever undisturbed, and anything that disturbs me or becomes difficult in my life is bad. And we get drawn into all those strategies. The strategies include when I face difficulty or things I don't like or people are not behaving the way I want them to behave, we complain or we get angry. So these are rather, as I'm pointing them out, we will all admit that we all have been guilty of these strategies and these complaints. This is all nafs. But what will allow us to see this continually? What will help us to give up the stories we tell about our experience? We write these stories of dissatisfaction, stories of resentment. We need and we can, through real spiritual practice, find in ourselves a state of well-being that is independent of circumstance. This is faith, this is true faith, this is trust. To know that no matter what happens, we live in a meaningful, purposeful universe, that we are recipients of the divine grace and beneficence, and that everything in our life has been arranged to educate our souls and to remind us of the beauty, generosity, and intelligent nurturance of the divine. When you're in that state, these ego games are a little bit easier to let go of. You see how foolish they are and how they don't bring you what you want anyway. Like how well is anger working for you, for instance? How well is resentment? What's that doing for us? But very often we don't even recognize that we're in a state of resentment. People can live their whole lives in that deepening state of resenting their partner, resenting their job, resenting life or God himself. We need consciousness. That's why we need a higher level presence.